Good morning. Luis, good morning. Good morning, Shannon. Good morning, Louisa. Louisa, I think you're the first in. Welcome in. Good morning. Oh, and I hear myself on echo.
No, I think that was me.
Woo. Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes I open Facebook and maybe I am. Nope. I do that in here sometimes. So Tanner Carlson at the moment is in the building, but he is questionable for 8:06. I don't know if he's going to make it.
Didn't Dave get his yesterday too?
I think he's this Friday.
Oh, he's this Friday. Oh, that's right. He said his weekend could be shot. Okay.
Yes. But Tanner's just starting to feel some body aches, and he's moving real slow. But he did come in. He's in the building as we speak. We'll see what I told him. I said, if you got to punt, you got to punt. Don't be a hero if you're dying. John Williams, good morning from Dallas. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna. That one muted. I'm gonna mute my Facebook. So that one doesn't echo. Let's see. It is muted. Okay. Whoa, I think we're coming. It's already 6:09, 6:10. Unbelievable. Guzzle some more caffeine. Jason Paniagua, Hector Gomez, good morning. Now, Chris Duel. Glory, hallelujah on a Taco Tuesday. But this Taco Tuesday is more than a Taco Tuesday. This is a Taco Tebow Tuesday. Yes, he's back. He's back in the league. The Lord had a favorite quarterback, and now we know the Lord has a favorite tight end, and his name is Tim Tebow. Welcome into the Chris Duel Show, along with Shannon Salty Sweeney. Shannon, I didn't sleep much last night. There was a Spurs game. My Fitbit tells me I got 2 hours and 58 minutes of sleep last night, but I am on a Tim Tebow high. In fact, a few times. It's too bad the camera in here is kind of locked into position. I am going to get down on one knee and do some Tebowing every hour this morning. Are you as excited as I am for the second coming of Tebow?
I will wait for the contract to be signed. But we've been, talking about who we'd like to see on Hard Knocks, right? We're getting closer to that time of year where the decision is going to come down, and we know Jacksonville is not eligible, but that they are a great storyline. And I think this just adds to it, because whether or not Tebow gets time on the field and whether or not he makes it to that 53-man roster at the beginning of the season, he's a fun watch. He's an impact guy in the locker room. I love it. I also love the fact that it was this kind of happenstance that, hey, your old football coach is now the new coach of your local NFL team, and you guys live down the street from each other. How convenient is that?
Mm-hmm.
How convenient is that? And you happen to be a great leader and former quarterback to this rookie guy who's supposed to have it all. I think he will be a great calming force for him.
And you're God's favorite football player. So now you've got God. We know God will be pulling for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
I did not think until you said it right now. I did not, I've been just enjoying this story and thinking about the possibilities of what Tim Tebow could mean to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I didn't think of Hard Knocks. Oh my God. They need to bend the rules. HBO needs to go to the NFL and go, how much more money can we throw at you? Because you're right. Even if Tim Tebow gets cut like the last week of preseason, that could be the
that almost
biggest,
makes it better.
and we'll see that on Hard Knocks. Ideally, that makes Hard Knocks. You've got Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence. You've got Urban Meyer. Boom! You have like the greatest season of Hard Knocks ever. Even if Tebow's cut, and I know a lot of people believe he will be cut before the regular season. God, I would be locked into hard. I would watch. I wouldn't even wait for the replay on that. 4 hours later, I would tune in as soon as it drops every week on HBO.
The rule is, and the thing that's hindering them from being eligible is that they have a brand new head coach in Urban Meyer. But I haven't read the real specifics of the rule because technically he's been a head coach before. So is it new to the team? I mean, if we could get into the nitty gritty, maybe that could help us out a little bit and we could push it along. But I would love to see them get there.
And rules are meant to be broken, and it's all about the money. And if
it's the Lord's will, I don't know why.
Thank you. Yes.
He's got his favorite chicken, and now he's got his favorite football player back in action.
And Urban Meyer obviously has a relationship with Tim Tebow, as you mentioned. Now they're even neighbors. And Urban Meyer knows that Tim Tebow's a playmaker. Granted, it didn't work out that well in the NFL, but he led the Broncos to the playoffs that one year, and he won one game in the playoffs over the Pittsburgh Steelers, throwing an unorthodox pass over the middle in overtime that wound up going for a touchdown. I sense Urban Meyer is going to see what Tim Tebow has left in the tank. And I mean, who says there can't be a tight end around play? Who says you can't move your tight end over to wide receiver and just get him in space and get the ball in his hands 3 times a day? To me, Shannon, if he's still in great shape, he's Taysom Hill is better, I would say, certainly at throwing the football. But if you've got Tebow, who would probably play for the veteran minimum for the Jaguars, and if once a quarter you get the ball in his hands, then maybe once a game he's going to bust a play and create something because he's a playmaker. He makes things happen. Some people see this as kind of like a PR move, just publicity, or even just a buddy. Like Mike McCarthy hired his buddies when he came to Dallas. A dude who's close to Tebow, giving him one last shot. Some people see it as that. I see it as something with potential if Tebow has some of that dynamism left in him.
Yeah, and I'm with you in that it could very well just be a PR move, but it's, I think, still a great one for an organization that is getting the most pub they've ever gotten for a quarterback who has yet to play a down in the NFL. I mean, what happens if he goes out there and, God forbid, he gets hurt, or it's just a complete dumpster fire and it's not the way that everyone envisioned and everyone just immediately tunes out on the Jaguars after all of this hype? Well, then you still have your Tim Tebow guy to fall back on. And again, I think he provides a lot in the locker room, and especially, again, in an organization who just brought in a new coach. They just got rid of a bunch of people on that staff just this last week after the draft. I mean, they are truly starting from ground zero here. And why not have a guy like Tim Tebow in that locker room to help build that foundation? I almost want to see him be, what's the guy's name who's with the Texans now, who's with the Patriots, and he's he's the puppeteer, but he's supposed to be like this spiritual counselor for that team. You almost see that as Tim Tebow, but he just happens to be doing it while wearing a jersey.
I agree with all of that. And you think about, I'll have to Google Tim Tebow's age and how long he's been out of the league. But most of the young players and new players on that Jacksonville Jaguar roster, they've heard of Tebow. So that's just another personality. And even if they think, well, I'm a better football player than he is or whatever, they've heard of Tebow. Tebow's a personality. And you're right. Tebow is, whether he gets the title or not, he automatically becomes team chaplain, team inspirer, inspirer in chief. And a lot of people dog Tim Tebow. And I mean, yes, and I have fun with him, calling him the Lord's quarterback and now the Lord's tight end. And now I say that God now is going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. I have fun with that. But everybody who meets Tim Tebow likes him. And some people give him a hard time for wearing his faith on his sleeve. I like it. It's who he is. It's he's not judgmental about it. He's not. I mean, he is kind of in your face about it, but not in a negative way, unless you choose to take it negatively. I don't think he's doing it to be malicious with anybody. It's who he is, and my God, look at his life. Just won the Heisman Trophy. Yep, had a cup of coffee and won a playoff game in the NFL. Tried out for baseball. That didn't work out. Got a gig on the SEC network, and here he is, married a supermodel. He lives in a really nice neighborhood in a really nice house, inspires a lot of people, is a national name, and I would imagine a hero to a lot of hardcore Christians across the country. Tim Tebow's got a pretty amazing life.
Yeah, and to answer your question, he'll be 34 in August. So during training camp, or during preseason rather, he'll be turning 34. His last stint where he actually saw NFL action was with the Jets in 2012. And then he was with the Patriots for a hot minute, but didn't make the 53-man roster. And then again with Philadelphia in 2015, where he was cut at the end of preseason. So he has been out for a minute. I mean, you could call it almost 9 years now.
See, in my head, time flies. In my head, because I didn't know how old he was. In my head, he was about 27. And when you said 30, so I thought, all right, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's 30. 30, I mean, wow. So, I mean, once you, as a professional athlete, 35, I mean, for a wide receiver, once you hit 35, you start losing your blazing speed as a wide receiver, typically in the NFL. That's interesting. All right. Jeremy Fouts, will introduce him to you in a moment. If you've been with the show, you know he is the flawless and fabulous Jeremy Fouts, the nephew of NFL Hall of Fame quarterback Dan Fouts. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But we're going to do this now. We also do it at 7:20, and whatever radio station you're listening to this morning, either AM 1300 The Zone or Ticket 760. We do it 12 times throughout the day. Your chance to win $1,000. You're going to get a keyword. You go to the website of the radio station you're listening to, pop it in where you see grand in your hand cash contest, and you're in. You got a shot. Somebody's going to win it. It may as well be you. Here comes the contest.
Right now, here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Summer. That's summer. Enter it now.
Summer. Feels like summer out there, even though that's not going to be official till the solstice on June 21st. The man who played the contest information for you, let's introduce him. He's here now and then, but he's been here many times. We love having him. He is the pride of Oklahoma Christian University. Tim Tebow would be proud, and perhaps he is. Perhaps because Jeremy Fouts knows of Tim Tebow. Who's to say Tim Tebow doesn't know of Jeremy Fouts? Jeremy Fouts, how are you doing this morning?
Pretty good, guys. Thanks for having me again. And happy Eat What You Want Day.
Ooh!
It is Taco Tuesday. I would still recommend eating a taco, but if you're going to eat whatever you want, today's the day.
See, and for the people on Facebook Live, I even have hard copy documentation. It is Eat What You Want Day. So let's go around the horn, starting with you, because you brought it up, Jeremy. What do you want to eat today?
I mean, it's Taco Tuesday. It's taco. I gotta eat a taco.
Good man.
I want to eat a taco because it's Taco Tuesdays. That's my choice.
That's your choice, Shannon. It is National Eat What You Want Day. Doesn't matter anything. And I believe part of that is calories don't matter. What happens on National Eat What You Want Day, the calories stay in National Eat What You Want Day. So anything goes. What would you love to eat?
Probably burger and fries with margarita.
Burger and fries with a
And sweet
margarita.
waffle, you know. Didn't we just have Don't Do Your Diet Day or something?
Yes, we did. A lot of people. Plus
cheating.
COVID. And
Are we
I'm
ever
like,
going to get back on the diet
Yeah.
here?
I'm like 20. I got my COVID 20 still going, and now these last couple of weeks. So all right, well, I'm not gonna say the same thing Jeremy did, although I like it. Is something taco on Taco Tuesday. What do I want to eat today? You go burger and fries. So I'm not gonna say In-N-Out Burger or Whataburger. I'm gonna go.
It is also Hostess Cupcake Day.
Hostess Cupcake Day. I'm gonna go big old pizza from either. There's a place in San Antonio, Julian's makes great pizza. Grimaldi's makes great pizza. So I'm gonna get a pizza with pepperoni. I like to put mushroom slices on it. I like to put spinach on it. So I'm gonna get a big old. It's eat what I want day. Now I'm gonna mix that up a little bit. You're on death row. You're gonna die because you live in Texas, and we love killing people in Texas. You've gone to Huntsville. You've been falsely accused. You've asked Governor Greg Abbott to commute your sentence. Hell no, he's Greg Abbott. All prisoners must die. So Jeremy, Jeremy. Now you, Shannon, would never be on death row. Me, maybe. But so not just eat what you want. Last meal. What would it? Your last meal on Earth? What would you order?
Oh man, probably a patty melt for my mom, just for a little home.
Patty melt for mom.
Yeah.
What a good son you are.
Yeah.
And your mom would, your mom would go, okay, here's the execution, but at least my son loves me, and I've given him a patty melt.
A patty melt and some hash browns. I would be able to go to my death. Very happy.
What are you going to wash that down with? Big Red? What are you going to wash that down?
Probably a cherry vanilla Coke is
nice.
The ultimate drink.
See, being executed doesn't have to be that. Yeah. Not everything's bad.
Sounds kind of great, actually. I get to eat whatever I want.
See, all right, Shannon. Last meal. What are you ordering?
Steak.
Nice.
Filet, medium well, because I'm a savage.
Where are you getting that? You going to get that Nolan Ryan beef, or where are you going to get the steak from?
No, because then I'd have to make it myself. Maybe VY's Steakhouse.
Perfect. On brand, Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, pretty on brand. Nice. I'm always on brand. Got to go all the way out.
Yes.
I'm going out. What about you?
Wait, what? So, did we get your beverage with your steak?
Oh, margarita. Anytime. Margarita. I mean,
Sweet.
There's always room for one of those.
Yeah. My sister Kathy, my oldest sister Kathy, makes a seafood bouillabaisse, which is it's got like crab in it. It's got different kinds of fish. It's got shrimp. Yesterday was National Shrimp Day. So I would either get my sister Kathy to make it. If she's too distraught because I'm about to be executed, there's a Thai restaurant on Austin Highway in San Antonio named Tong's Thai. They have a similar, it's called Ha Mok, which is like a fish seafood bouillabaisse, but it's a Thai recipe. That and I think I'd have a Bud Light seltzer, Shannon, because Bud Light and Brown Distributing in Austin, they are sponsors of the show, and I love Bud Light seltzer. So I am brand loyal, and I'm loyal to people who support the show. So Bud Light seltzer with that.
When you mentioned Grimaldi's, there's one in Austin now. It's currently in a ghost kitchen, but they're gonna have a full-fledged store in the Domain. I saw that over the weekend, so I'll have to check that out. Maybe we should bring them on now that they're in both. I like it, and it is one of the best pizzas I've ever had. It's like serious. They look good.
Yeah, you have got to sample it. We'll hopefully share one at the new Grimaldi's in Austin. All right, quick break. I see Michelle Johnson just joined us from Marysville, Kansas on Facebook Live. Welcome in, Michelle. We're streaming live video on AM 1300 The Zone and Ticket 760's Facebook pages. You can also get there through YouTube. There are on Twitter. We put links out there. You can go via Twitter and get into the video. You participate not only with Shannon, with Jeremy, with me, but people like Michelle, Tracy, Ralph, Louisa, Hector, the people who are in there right now. Coming up, we will tell you today's poll question. Can you guess what it's about? And coming up, the high five play of the day. We love us some high five plays of the day because it's always positive. We're with you till 9. We believe Tanner Carlson will be here at 8. We'll tell you about that. And 7 o'clock, just after 7, Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs. She's Shannon Salty Sweeney. He's Jeremy Fouts. It's the Chris Duel Show. Wow, some classic Peter Gabriel. Wow. All right. I'm going to send you on Twitter another audio for High Five Play of the Day. It's the audio of a basketball player, Pascal Siakam, getting a home for his mom. He bought her a new house. I'm going to send it now. I haven't sent it yet, so you'll have it in like 60 seconds.
Okay.
All right, you got it. It's 60 seconds.
Cool.
Ralph, I will also gladly drink, and I'm wearing the orange. I will gladly drink Bud Light Orange. It's very good. But yeah, the seltzer's outstanding. It's a different kind of taste. There's a lot of cool flavors. So and it's very light. Almost no sugar, very few calories, gluten-free. So Shannon's currently a free agent. So I think Shannon needs to represent Guinness since she's been to the brewery and has those Irish roots. Tracy Bogert says Tebow won't be cut. Wes Perkins, last meal. I'm allergic to tomatoes. I just scrolled out of my view. I'm allergic to tomatoes and lactose intolerant. So pizza and ice cream would be a good death. Funny, Wes. And some of you, Ralph, it mentions Bud Light Orange. I once, I had never tried it, and I saw Walter Pasacreta, who's been on the show a lot, saying how good Bud Light Orange was. And I thought, that's got to be awful. No way. So I thought to mock him, I did a video of myself the first time I ever tried and the idea was maybe to spit it out and say, Wally, you're out of your mind. This is all good. So it was outstanding. I took a sip of Bud. It tasted like the soft drink Orange Crush. So it tasted nothing like a beer. So I wound up having more than a few Bud Light Oranges ever. And it was hard to find for quite some time. So you would have to go on a quest to multiple HEBs. And I would have certain people say, hey, there's an HEB over on South Cross. You can go find some Bud Light Orange there. So let's see. Ray Harper, I don't think I've said hello. Just saw you in here. Dave Emilio Castanuela. Jason Paniagua. Hector Gomez, Ray Harper, Tracy Bogert, Clint Proctor. Yeah, Clint says Tebow is a great example athletically and a straight up role model for kids. I agree. I always want him to succeed. I hope this goes well. No, I'm just going to. Yeah, I'm going to throw to it. Okay. Yeah. And it's not, I mean, you really have to, it's not great audio. It's kind of echoey. It's in a house that he just gave to his mom. Yeah. Yeah. We're just going to play it. And I'll tell people you got to listen closely because it's not ideal audio. But I just tweeted out the video. So ideally people should go look at the video. What is he? Let's see. 27. Little Tom Petty for you on a Taco Tuesday, on a Tim Tebow Tuesday. We talked a lot of Tim Tebow in the opening segment. Both Shannon and I see a lot of possibilities, not just for perhaps the Jacksonville Jaguars, but for HBO's Hard Knocks. If it were to happen in a moment, our high five play of the day. But Tim Tebow being talked about, Shannon, not just here, but across the country on a lot of radio and television sports talk shows. So Tim Tebow becomes the subject of our poll question this morning.
Yes, asking how will Tim Tebow's season with the Jacksonville Jaguars play out? Now, reminder, he has yet to sign a contract. They're expecting that within the next couple of weeks. But currently we've got cut before the regular season. Ooh, someone just voted. It is no longer in first place. It is sitting at 38% of the vote. Very little impact at 46% of the vote. Major impact on the team, 15% of the vote. And no one has voted that he leads the Jags to the Super Bowl.
That is your fourth choice.
That is, yes.
Perhaps Sunshine, because the Lord works in mysterious ways. Perhaps Sunshine Trevor Lawrence either gets hurt or decides to walk away from football. Nobody saw that coming. So Urban Meyer hands the keys to Tim Tebow, who leads the Jaguars to the Super Bowl.
Who's to say, though, that they go to the Super Bowl with Trevor Lawrence at QB, but as the tight end, he makes that huge impact and scores all of the touchdowns, and they are considered the most iconic duo of all time. Forget Tom Brady and Gronk, forget Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Sunshine and the Lord's Child are your new favorite duo.
Well, and in that Super Bowl, yes, Trevor Lawrence throwing 3 touchdowns to Tim Tebow throughout most of the game. But on the final possession with the Jaguars down 4, Trevor Lawrence suffers an ankle injury. And Tebow, who had not taken a snap all year, has to go to the quarterback position, leads the Jaguars down the field, mainly with running, dropping back and running the football. Tebow leads them and wills them, and I believe it's God's wills them to a touchdown and a Super Bowl chance. The perfect ending to the perfect season.
And Tebow's it in the end zone. Yes,
and he does a Tebow in the end zone. Yes, and the opposing team, whoever they may be, they all Tebow as well. They go, that's too cool. We must Tebow with you. All right, we're not delusional in any way whatsoever. You think I'm delusional about the Spurs? I'm apparently really delusional about Tebow. We will talk some Spurs. Things are getting really interesting in Spurs land after a historic, record-setting win last night over the Milwaukee Bucks. But at 6:41, we like to do this just about this time every morning, bring you some very, very good news where somebody deserves a high five. It is our high five play of the day. And there's the beautiful music. Shannon, you are a high five veteran. Tell the people about high five.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm the Tim Tebow of high five. I feel like maybe that's where I am these days. But on this Tim Tebow Taco Tuesday, make sure you get out to that Lakeway location of High Five, where there are $2 laser tag missions, $2 domestic beers, and $2 tacos, the ultimate way to take on a Tuesday at High Five.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, here is your high five play of the day. And we're going to play the audio. The audio is not ideal for radio. You're going to have to listen closely. So I highly recommend you look at the video. Pascal Siakam, who has kind of become the most valuable Toronto Raptor now that Kawhi Leonard has left. Pascal Siakam is from Cameroon. He has a Texas connection. He played high school in Louisville, Texas, at God's Academy. Another God reference on this Tim Tebow Taco Tuesday. His father was killed in a car accident in 2014 when Pascal Siakam, the youngest of 4 brothers, was 20 years old. So his mom then saw to it that she, in the United States, was taking care of these 4 sons. All of his brothers went on to play college basketball. Pascal Siakam played at New Mexico State, and Pascal Siakam became the most successful of the 4 brothers, obviously, and has signed a big contract, a 4-year, $136 million contract with the Toronto Raptors. So he is doing quite well for himself. Well, Shannon, not only does he do what he did, and it's what we're giving him the high five for, but he did it on Mother's Day.
And her birthday.
And her birthday. Wow.
What a combo.
Pascal Siakam buys his mom a big house, a big, beautiful house on Mother's Day and on her birthday. Now, you need to go, and I tweeted it out at Chris Duel. You can find it all over the internet. I tweeted out the video to which we're going to play you the 60-second audio here. The audio is in a new house, and if you've ever been in a new unfurnished house, and I think it's semi-furnished, but there's echo, and it's a big house, so it's cavernous, and there are echoes. So, but listen closely. You can hear Pascal Siakam saying, hey, ever since Dad died, you've been doing such a great job raising us. You can hear his mom is just, imagine, she's emotional, she's ecstatic, she doesn't know what to do with herself. So here is the moment, but I highly recommend you look at the video. But here's the audio of that moment of his mom learning that her Mother's Day and birthday gift was this new home from her son, Pascal Siakam. That's the audio. That's his mom just emotional reacting. The video is priceless. You got to go see the video. Shannon, we say it all the time. Use your platform for good. What better can you do than do something that meaningful for your mom on her birthday and on Mother's Day?
Yeah, you win an NBA title in 2019, and then you sign a 4-year, $136 million contract. Get your mom a house. A big one. Biggest one you can find.
It's a pretty big one. So, good man, Pascal Siakam. Yeah, headlines are made in sports when a player does something bad, and there's a lot of stories about the vast majority. We lose sight of this, I think. The vast majority of professional athletes and college athletes, just like the vast majority of human beings, are good people. For whatever reason, the way the media works, if it bleeds, it leads. We bad news and bad stories tend to get the most attention. Here's a good man, Pascal Siakam from Cameroon. And I've always, ever since that you mentioned, Shannon, he was on that team with Kawhi Leonard when the Toronto Raptors won that championship. So I that's when I really became aware of him. But now he's on my radar as one of my favorite non-Spurs out there in the NBA. Knowing a little more about him now, seeing what he did for his mom, I'm going to be a Pascal Siakam fan and pull for the guy. I love this story.
Yeah, and he's only 27, so he's got plenty of time to continue making not only an impact on the league, but on his family and his community that he's in.
Very, very cool. All right, that is our high five play of the day. Speaking of NBA basketball, and Shannon, I mentioned it last night, the Spurs took a major step forward to try to lock down the play-in tournament. They won big over the Milwaukee Bucks, 146-125. At halftime, the Spurs had 87 points. In the Spurs history, dating back to 1973, they've never had 87 points at halftime. They once had, in 1984, they had 84 points at halftime against the Denver Nuggets. They've never had 87 at the half. They were just hitting everything. They were on fire, especially in the first half. You now combine that with the New Orleans Pelicans loss and the Spurs magic number for both the Pelicans and the Sacramento Kings is 1. If the Spurs just win one more game, the Pelicans and the the Pelicans or the Sacramento Kings can't catch them. So now, that being said, the Spurs' final 4 games are Brooklyn Nets, maybe the best team in the East, New York Knicks, better than they've been in like 15 years, and then 2 games at home against Phoenix this weekend. Phoenix, second best record in the NBA. So it ain't a done deal yet, but they took a big step last night.
Yeah, you have to feel pretty good about where the Spurs are, especially to do that over, the Bucks, which they're no scrum of a team either.
True.
So I think if you're a Spurs fan, you're feeling really good and probably playing detective now to see who you're going to be matching up against for this play-in tournament.
And it looks like the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are in the 9 slot. Now, it was the Grizzlies that beat the Pelicans last night. So the Grizzlies started the night with a 2-game lead over the Spurs. It would be nice to catch the Grizzlies. Kind of unlikely now. The Spurs have 4 games to play. So, the Spurs would have to go something like 4-0 and the Grizzlies like 2-2. I don't even know who has the tiebreaker with the Grizzlies. So that's unlikely. So the way the play-in tournament works, they're each 1 game. So it will probably be Spurs, Grizzlies in Memphis, and you think about this, Shannon, the Spurs are much better on the road this year than at home. So I guess this is good. If the Spurs are going to advance in the playoffs, they would have to win 2 road games. They would have to beat probably the Grizzlies, and then they would have to beat probably, if the standings hold, the loser, and this could be fun, of the Golden State Warriors versus the LA Lakers game, the 7 versus 8 game. Either one of those, Shannon, would be exciting. I mean, obviously, Spurs Lakers with a chance to oust LeBron James in a play-in game, and that would be at Staples Center, would be so much fun to watch, no matter how it turned out. But even if it's Spurs Warriors, we've talked about Steph Curry this season and how great he's playing, and the history between the Spurs and the Warriors and the Lakers. Either one of those be a fun game.
Yeah, and it's Chef Curry. Whip it, like Chef Curry. Come on, Chef Curry.
Chef Curry. And his wife is a chef, isn't she?
He cooks it up. Yeah, and then like LeBron, you mentioned, who is supposed to be making his return tonight. So we'll see what he looks like heading into what looks like now the Lakers going to this play-in of the playoff. And I agree that either way you slice it, any of those 3 teams playing each other is great. And then to see one of them knock out LeBron is incredible, unless you're the head of the NBA and you're like, oh, now my playoffs are ruined.
Well, see, and now conspiracy theory. I was talking to Tanner about this last night.
Okay, yeah, well, give it to me.
Yeah, well, Tanner sat in on the Spurs broadcast with me last night. And can you imagine? All right, let's say Lakers lose to the Warriors in the 7 versus 8 play-in game. So then they got to play the winner of 9 versus 10, whether it's Spurs or Memphis. And let's hope it's Spurs. I got to believe the refs in that game, fans over the years have looked at how the refs officiate certain games and certain players. Mm-hmm. The NBA would hate, and the advertisers and the networks would hate for the Lakers not to be in a long playoff series, at least, or a long playoff run. I would say watch the officiating very closely if the Lakers get into an elimination game. I got a bad feeling LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and all the Lakers would get a lot of close calls. I think the officiating would tip toward the Lakers in a game like that.
So you're saying LaFlop James will probably be playing that night?
Yes.
In a major way.
Yes.
I recently, because again, COVID, and like I'm home more than ever and I'm playing more video games than ever. And I finally just bought NBA 2K21, which came out like in October. And I ended up on the Lakers because they offered me the most virtual currency in the game. And LeBron James it's incredible how accurate the game is, because he is a ball hog, and B, he flops all the time in this game. I can't believe it. So I'm with you. I believe in that theory. That's also, I mean, as great as it is for like the league to be like, yay, LeBron is in the playoffs, we get to keep all these advertising dollars and raise more. Then you have everyone who isn't a Lakers fan now going after you for awful officiating and tipping the scales.
If that happens. Now, quick question, because I know we're up against it. Since you played Lakers, Do you like LeBron a little more since he was playing for you?
No, because anytime I pass him the ball, he shoots it and usually misses. And also Dwight Howard, who for whatever reason is still on that team on this roster. He's just as I hate him just as much as I do. I can't.
All right.
Please stop playing basketball.
Speaking of basketball, coming up, Jeff Garcia of Locked on Spurs. We'll go a little deeper into the NBA playoffs and the Spurs. She's Shannon Salty Sweeney, Salty Shakedown as well, coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Stick around. Thanks for hanging with us. It's the Chris Duel Show.
Coming back here because again, he started this effort 20 months ago. And I'm sure the pandemic played a bit of a role in making it take so long to get to this point
Jared
where we are
Taylor
now.
on YouTube. Good morning, Jared. Hector Gomez, Luisa Alanis. Let's see. I think I'm going to go get coffee.
Hey, Chris.
Because I need it.
Chris.
I need it.
Can you have him put me in queue?
No, Jason. Jason, give me your TikTok handle. I'll go look at it, man.
Hey, Chris.
Jason Paniagua made a TikTok with Shannon and me in it. I will. Jason, I'm going to go get coffee.
You.
Put your TikTok handle, and I will pull up TikTok and look at it. And to whatever extent I can, I'll show it. Hang on, I don't have I went out of queue because I was hearing echo. Did you have something, Shannon?
Oh, well, speaking of TikTok, I was going to see if sometime today you could send me like a 7 or to 15 second video of you doing the Tebow. You can talk, you don't have to talk, but just do it vertical. So that's how TikTok is.
Tebow. Okay.
And I can make a little TikTok.
Can you want me to say anything in it or just doing
if you feel it necessary or you just want to over dramatize doing a Tebow.
Okay.
Or just you doing Tebows in random spots.
Yeah, if I think about it, I'll shoot it here in a few minutes during the show and get it to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Chingamusis. All right, Jason, I will go find that in a moment. After a quick coffee infusion. I'll be right back. Taro Kotani, the greatest international Spurs fan. Taro joins us. Okay, I'm going to look on TikTok here, Jason. Lucinda Sullivan, good morning, Lucinda. The patron saint of coffee. I just got coffee. Do this in memory of you. Laura Burris, good morning from the San Antonio Food Bank. Okay, now let me see. Where's my Facebook? Okay. All right, I'm going to go look for your TikTok now, Jason, if I can find it. Let me see. And I'm not a TikTok pro like Shannon, so it might take me a second. I should be able to search your name, though, right? Here we go. And, of course, first thing that comes up is a Tom Cruise fake video. Why does TikTok think I have a thing for Tom Cruise? It keeps sending me these Tom Cruise videos. Okay, here we go. All right, I think I found you. Now which one is it? Am I going to have to go looking through all your videos to find it? I think I found it. Very nice. That's very cool. Jason winning his tickets. All I do is win. Very funny.
At this time, but first, want to congratulate our winner for the. We'll do this every day this week at 8:20, but today's winner for the NASCAR Cup Series race at Circuit of the Americas tickets was Jason Paniagua.
Very cool, Jason. Glad you won those tickets. All right. 7 o'clock hour coming.
Chris, they just posted on Zone's Twitter one of the videos that we recorded for Grand in Your Hand.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe yours is pretty cool with the graphics they put in there.
Oh, cool. So it's on Zone's Twitter?
Yes.
Okay. Is that Callie who makes those videos?
I'm sure she's part of it.
Okay.
I have no idea what the graphic situation is otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, mine is buffering and loading for some reason. There it goes. Is that muted? Why won't that play? Unmute site.
You go to the website, you pop in the keyword, boom, about $1,000 for you.
Thank you, sir.
That's why we call it the Grand in Your Hand cash contest. You listen to us on the 20th, typically
give you a nationwide $1,000 keyword. You go to the website, you pop in the keyword, boom, your name is in the hat. You got a chance to win $1,000, $1,000 in your hand. Hey, somebody's gonna win it. It may as well be you. Not only on our show, but throughout the day on the 20s, you listen in and you get that nationwide $1,000 keyword and a chance to win throughout the day on the 20s. We do it in the mornings on the 20s as well. Come on, we want you to win $1,000. You can do a few things with $1,000. Listen to us for your chance to win. How about $1,000 for you each?
Here we come.
This is the Chris Duel Show. You know what I mean? Now, Chris Duel.
It is a Taco Tuesday, but it's more than that. We've been telling you, we've been talking about it. It's a Tim Tebow Tuesday, as now it is official. We know the Lord is a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. We didn't know that until just recently, which is kind of cool. And this just in, Tim Tebow has also signed with the Brooklyn Nets. He will be on their playoff roster as a shooting guard for the Brooklyn Nets. I'm making that up, but that would be fun. It's the Chris Duel Show, along with Shannon Salty Sweeney, her salty shakedown a little bit later this hour, just after 7:30. Be listening for that. A little bit later in the show, Tanner Carlson going to come in studio and talk Tim Tebow and NFL and Dallas Cowboys. But want to go deeper into the NBA playoffs and the play-in system and deeper into last night's San Antonio Spurs historic victory, what it might mean. One of our favorite guys and go-to guys on the NBA and all things Spurs. He is the lead digital correspondent on the Spurs and the NBA and NBA 2K for a couple of San Antonio television stations, News 4 San Antonio and Fox 29. He also has a great podcast of his own, which is called Locked On Spurs, from Brooklyn, New York. Well, actually Queens, New York, but I say Brooklyn because that's where an NBA team is. The one and only Jeff Garcia. What is up?
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Yeah, hey, but I will be in Brooklyn this week when the Spurs take on the Nets.
Oh, you're going to be in the house. How cool is that?
It's cool. There's a little bit of a hoops to jump through, though, because of the COVID testing here. I'm in between vaccines, so they're not going to let me in until I do like a 72-hour test yet. So I had to go and get the swab up my nose yesterday. So fun times.
Wow. So when do you get your second vaccine?
Later on this month.
And is it?
And it would be right when this New York Knicks Nets Spurs matchups are all done. So I have to go to one more time for the Knicks.
Well, and it's funny, Jeff, because later on in the show we're going to have a guy who's just got his second vaccine yesterday. Tanner Carlson, he's in the building right now. He's moving kind of slowly, and it took out Shannon for a day, and it took me out for a day. It took out Shannon for 2 days, I think. And actually me for two, actually, because the second day fell on a Saturday. I would have been out for 2 as well. So
I just wish I did this earlier because then I have to go through these hoops. But yeah, the Nets, it's a laundry list of things to do ahead of the game. So I have to do X, Y, and Z. I got to do the testing. Then I have to do their own testing on site. So it's some hoops to jump through. But the good news is that the Nets are going to give me my results, so I can just turn that around and then give it to the Knicks. And then the Knicks will be, okay, you did it. So you can come in.
very cool. Kind of a 2-for-1. Very, very nice. So last night, the Spurs win big over the Milwaukee Bucks. They score 87 points at halftime. They didn't do that before. They win 146-125. And we've talked about this, Jeff. The Spurs seem to play up to and down to their opponents. So I guess if they get into the play-in tournament, the good news is we know they can hang with some very, very good teams if they have a good night.
I mean, what a night for San Antonio. And it all began with the three-point shot. I mean, that shot was falling down. 17 for 29 on the night. Something that has been an issue for San Antonio leading up to the Bucks game. Inability to knock down that shot. And surprise, surprise, somebody came alive. Patty Mills. He just had himself a game, 6 for 9 from the three-point shot. All in all, it was just a great game. And they also did it on the defensive end as well. That's what I like about it. Look, Giannis is going to get his, but for him to really have to work for what he did was just good because the Spurs are just sending waves of different looks at him. DeMar DeRozan spoke about it, saying that was the game plan. Hold him to 28, I get that, but, 11 for 16, minimal shots. All in all, it was just a great night for Spurs fans who just, and I think the Spurs themselves just needed a kind of a signature win in now because the play-in tournament is right around the corner. All signs are pointing to they are going to make it in, and the magic number is down to one. Either that be a Spurs win or a loss with the Pelicans or Kings, and they are in. So this is great for them to get a quality win over a quality team right before the play-in begins. But the task is not over yet. Popovich even said it last night, saying the battle is not even over yet. So they're chasing that play-in tournament. The great thing was, I don't know if you were able to see this, but in the post-game chat with Bill Land, Lonnie Walker was informed about the teams that needed to lose last night. His reaction was so awesome. I think he forgot he was on camera. He pumped up his fist. He looked down and had this grunt, like, yes. He is so excited. That expression alone just tells you how much this team wants the opportunity to get into the playoffs.
Well, with that magic number being 1, Jeff, of the 4 games the Spurs have left on the season, there's no game that's going to be easy for them. But which of the 4 do you think they'll get that one from?
Games, because maybe by then Phoenix will know where they're going to be standing. I know they're in a fight with the West right now. With the Jazz for the top seed in the West. But I think if that's already settled before either one of those games, I think maybe you'll see the Suns rest players. Another game that could possibly be a W for San Antonio is maybe that Knicks game. And look, even when the Knicks are down and really, really down, they tend to really give the Spurs fits. That could be a possible game. Nevertheless, I think San Antonio matches up well with their youth and then the youth of the Knicks. But that'd be a fun game to watch. The Nets is going to be interesting because James Harden may come back for San Antonio. It was reported last night that the Nets are targeting Harden's return for Spurs v. Nets. And if he comes back, then, historically, whether he's a Rockets uniform or a Thunder uniform and now a Nets, we'll see, Harden just really gives the Spurs fits. But all in all, they should be able to get one game if they need to get the win. But, you got to be a square bar watching, Shannon, because if the Pelicans or Kings lose, in that combination there, then the Spurs are in. And then the rest, we won't have to worry about it. They can lose out, and they'll still be in.
That's true. And talking with Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs, you bring up the possibility and maybe even the probability of James Harden coming back for the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow night when the Spurs are in Brooklyn to take on the Nets. And I got to wonder, you just look at James Harden's career experience against the Spurs. First at Oklahoma City, that was when the Tim Duncan, Manu, and Tony Parker era was happening, and quite often things went the Spurs' way. And when Harden went to Houston, although yes, he's had a lot of success against the Spurs, I go back to that Manu blocking his shot at the end of a game, and then there was a playoff series not long ago that Houston was supposed to win, that the Spurs wound up getting a game early in Houston, and I believe winning that series in 6. So I got to believe if James Harden takes the court tomorrow night for a high-powered, high-octane super team in the Brooklyn Nets, I got a feeling he would love to stick it to the Spurs if he could. I think there might be a little extra juice for James Harden against the Spurs.
Yeah, the Harden Spurs matchups are always fun. The Manu Ginobili infamous block on him, and Spurs fans still talk about that. And of course, his seasons under and the Rockets. But defensively, that's where it's going to have to begin with Harden if he does play. So you're looking at DeJounte, maybe throw Keldon at him, Lonnie as well. It's unfortunate that Derek White is not playing, but nevertheless, I think the Spurs would have enough bodies just to maybe just give him different looks and try to slow him down versus San Antonio later on this week. But that's going to be a fun game. But I'm actually penciling the Knicks game. I think I'm interested in that one. I think the Knicks are a very, very surprising team. They're in the playoffs. You know, when was the last time we were at that, Chris and Shannon? The Knicks are in the playoffs. And I think that's going to be a very, very fun game at the Garden. DeMar DeRozan was asked about this after the game versus the Bucks, saying that he's excited to go to New York, to play in Madison Square Garden, to play in Barclays. He said those gyms are just very alive, and it gives them juice pre-game and, of course, during the game. It should be an interesting final games of the season. The Spurs, you can just see it in their body language and their tone of voice that they want that play-in spot and they want a shot at the playoffs. DeMar DeRozan repeats it over and over again. He says they have to take the opportunity to get into the postseason. The opportunity is pretty much well in hand, barring anything catastrophic, but they'll have their shot. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can slow down a John Morant, if they get slated against them, or Steph Curry. Or I think the Lakers are in the play-in.
Right now, yeah. They're right now they're at 7, yes.
Yeah, so can you imagine that when the dust settles, Spurs Lakers in a play-in game 1, winner take all? I mean, talk about the experience the kids will get. Talk about guys like Devin Vassell, being having to throw out against LeBron James, for example, or John Morant, or maybe if they have to go with, Keldon Johnson, he's shown this past season that he's okay taking on the task of defending the opposite team's best players. Remember earlier in the season, he went through murderer's row. I think he had like Zion, he had Giannis, he had LeBron, like back to back like that. Well, here's another shot at him. Popovich said this last night pregame that any game, especially a situation where you have a play-in tournament style playoff atmosphere, is going to be good for the young guys. He's flat out said it's going to be good for them. So there's so many positives you can take away with the Spurs making the play-in tournament. Positive 1, experience for the young guy. Positive 2, what if they shot the road? They get the win and they advance. And that'd be great.
Well, Jeff, I want to get your take on the Hall of Fame because that induction ceremony is this weekend. It's 2 classes going in, including Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, and Kim Mulkey, who, of course, just made that huge move to LSU. She's already brought in close to 4,000 new season ticket holders for that program in LSU. It just doesn't seem to be getting as much pub as I would think it would get. Is that the NBA in the final games of the season overshadowing it, or is it just kind of where the NBA is right now as people don't seem to be tuning in as much as they used to?
I think it's a little bit of a combination of everything going on. It's a very name-heavy class, highlighted by the late Kobe Bryant. There's that aspect, and then I think too because I don't think it's going to be in person. Yeah, that's right. It's not in person. Nobody's going to go out to the track to see them get inducted or enshrined. Excuse me. There's just a combination of things too. The season is just crazy. It's every other day for all teams, so I think it gets lost in the shuffle. But the Spurs are definitely going to make it very known that Tim Duncan is getting enshrined. They're having a big debut for him, and I think in the final game of the regular season. But Mulkey, I think she definitely deserves more attention right now for what she did and now what she's going to do, and she definitely deserves it. And I'm pretty sure she'll get her shine when that big moment comes. Whether it be in print or online or on TV, it's going to be a great night for just everybody involved. But in San Antonio, you could probably understand why. Maybe Austin
hit the contest
as well. Tim Duncan getting inducted, enshrined, into the Hall of Fame, and it's a big thing because the last one was David Robinson, I believe, and then the Spurs are going to have quite a few more names to go in there, and 2 more, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili down the road. But it's definitely going to be a special night in San Antonio for all Tim Duncan fans. The great thing is, though, Shannon, is when he spoke about his enshrinement, he applauded the fans. He said he wouldn't have been here for the fans. That video just took off. Fans are just missing him. With his back uniform, he looks like he can still play, Shannon. I mean, he did not let retirement get to his gut because he looks still in shape. He can go another season. But it's going to be a very special night, and the Spurs are getting the fans, and the fans are ready for that big moment.
Yeah, certainly something to be on everybody's radar this weekend to take a look at that. Tim Duncan, and of course, as Shannon mentions, the fact that Kobe is being inducted this weekend. That'll be very moving, I'm sure, and I'm sure there'll be special things planned. Taking us just a real quick time out here, Jeff Garcia, to do a contest. We're talking with Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs, but at 7:20 and 6:20, we do that on this show, and we in fact do it 12 times throughout the day. Whatever radio station you're listening to, AM 1300 The Zone or Ticket 760, we're going to give you a keyword. We're going to do it right now. And 12 times throughout the day, you get that keyword. Go to the website of either radio station, the one you're listening to. Go to the Grand in Your Hand cash contest, pop in the keyword, and you're in the running. Somebody's going to win it. It may as well be you. Here it is.
Now, right now, here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Water. That's water. Enter it now.
Water. That's your keyword. Talking with Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs. Jeff, it came up yesterday on the show, and it was a poll question on this show yesterday. And while I don't think it will happen, we are not sure. We never know. Coach Greg Popovich, he's 72 years old. He's a different breed of cat. I love him. I hope he stays 7, 8, 9 more years if he would. But I just wanted to remind Spurs fans yesterday, the final regular season game is Phoenix at the AT&T Center on Sunday, and then in all probability they'll be the 10 seed. Yeah, they could get to 9 and get a home game, let's hope, but in all probability, if you're going to play the odds, they're going to be in the 10 slot and go on the road for a play-in game, probably at Memphis. So there is a conceivable chance Pop's last game, should he choose to ride off into the sunset, could be on Sunday at the AT&T Center. I think our poll winner yesterday said he'll stay one more season, which is what Shannon and I believe, that this is going to be such an off season of flux. We don't know what DeMar DeRozan's going to do. Either way, we don't know how the Spurs would reconstruct this team for next year. So I believe Pop sticks around at least one more year, but nobody knows that for sure. What factors do you think will go into Pop's decision whether or not to stick around for at least another season with the Spurs?
I think one big reason why he would stay is pretty much this season alone. It's so wonky. It's so disjointed. The lack of practice. I think for him to say, give me one more season with these guys where I get a full training camp, legit practice between games. I see the kids get a summer league, get a G League experience. We get the recall. I think if he sees a normal season with these young guys and a team that's going to get younger next season with the draft, I think that'll do him well to say, look, now I'm leaving this team in a good spot. Now that I got to coach these guys instead of just having to coach them on the job training style. I think that's a big reason too. Another reason too, it also depends on, the veterans. If DeMar DeRozan sticks around, what if he gives DeMar DeRozan a promise that he'll stay one more year? What if that's part of the negotiation? If DeMar doesn't want to commit to San Antonio because he doesn't know what Pop's future is, that could be a reason. We've seen it done before with LaMarcus Aldridge. Remember when LaMarcus Aldridge wanted out and they re-signed him, and part of why LaMarcus Aldridge re-signed was because Pop was going to stick around. I think that's another reason too. If veterans, kind of like the high-profile names, actually do decide to come to San Antonio, Pop staying could factor into that. Also, too, I think another reason is, the Olympics. Depending how it goes, if they march to the gold medal, maybe that gives them a rejuvenation, a boost to say, hey, give it one more shot. I got myself a gold medal. Let me give the team that I grew up with, quote unquote, one more year under my belt. So all in all, I think there's many factors that can play into Popovich staying.
Jeff, did you see the Luka hit earlier this week? What did you think of it? And do you think he'll get fined?
I did not see it, but I heard about it. Can you tell me what I missed?
He so in the Battle of the Paint, gentleman ran and bumped him, and in retaliation, he swung back. However, he swung back and hit a negative region of the gentleman who ran into him, and he was then ejected. But he's looking at the monitor, and the faces he makes in disbelief. I don't think he realized what he did until later on, because he said he didn't need to go there exactly.
Yeah, it was Colin Sexton of the Cavs.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as he swung, I think that's enough for the NBA to say you're suspended. I mean, he's teetering on pretty much a suspension, right? Because he needed just one more tech, and he gets a 1-game suspension. So I think either way you play it, I think that suspension is coming. And it comes at a bad time for Dallas. They need him on that court. They need to get that mojo going as their playoff spot set as well. All in all, it's just surprising. He's such a babyface guy, but you look at who has many texts this season, and it's him. He has the most texts. Now, I don't know if you saw that opinion piece with the Fort Worth Telegram, Chris Shannon, where the Fort Worth Telegram is dubbing Doncic as the NBA's newest crybaby, replacing one Tim Duncan.
Wow. Well, and
yeah, exactly.
Well, and I yesterday I was talking with Tanner Carlson, who's going to join us in the 8:00 hour, and Sam Freese, who works on the Mike Taylor show. Both of them, like Shannon, are big time Dallas Mavericks fans. And apparently, I never knew this before. His favorite player growing up, Luka Doncic, was LeBron James. So you got to wonder, he grew up watching LeBron. LeBron complains and kind of cries to the refs throughout the game, and now this is what Luka is doing. You got to wonder if that had an influence.
You know what? I don't know if you saw this too, but I think it was last week. There's a video going around on social media where LeBron James is driving to the paint, and some guy goes up for the block, and the opponent just grazes him, Chris Shannon. I'm talking just barely tapped him. I mean, it was nothing. And then LeBron comes down in pain, rising in pain, covering half his face on the sideline, doubled over and looking at the refs, goes back into the play later on. So you see the replay, and you go, well, let's look at what happened. And you see the elbow of the defender just gives him a very slight tap. It was all over for LeBron, who needed that call. But look, we see this is nothing out of your star players in the NBA. We've seen it with LeBron. We've seen it with Luka. MJ, Michael Jordan, he had issues too. So this is just par for the course for these young stars in the NBA.
Jeff Garcia is a great follow on Twitter. He's on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Nobody puts out more content round the clock on the Spurs, on the NBA, on NBA 2K, and more than Jeff Garcia. You get links to all of his coverage and links to his great podcast, Locked On Spurs. Jeff Garcia, always fantastic. Have fun in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center tomorrow night and the next night against the Knicks as you cover the Spurs from New York City. Thanks so much for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris Shannon. Talk to y'all later.
All right, sir. Coming up, Shannon's Salty Shakedown, this day in sports history, sports birthdays, and if he's still upright just after 8:00, Tanner Carlson will stagger into the studio. He had his second COVID shot yesterday, and he's a little bit loopy. We'll see how he's doing at 8. Quick break. Jeremy Fouts is your soundscape stylist. She's Shannon Salty Sweeney. Thanks for listening to the Chris Duel Show. Steve DiRocco, co-founder of the San Antonio Polar Bear Club, Steve DiRocco, the human element, the original Rock. What is up, Rocket Man? So, Steve DiRocco, if the sun comes out today. Whoa, Jason, 40 years ago today, Bob Marley died. That's a sad one. Fonzie J. Rodriguez. Fonzie says, good morning, Chris and Shannon. Don't sleep on the Lakers. The Dodgers will be back. Fonzie, if the Spurs beat the Memphis Grizzlies in the play-in, and if the Warriors, Steph Curry's on fire, beat the Lakers, we have a 1-game Spurs-Lakers extravaganza. I'm just saying. So, Shannon, you want this Tebow to just be like a 7-second Tebow? I'm going to shoot that now. Just like 7 seconds of me Tebowing and.
Yeah, however you want to do it. I can make
Okay.
whatever you send me.
Okay.
But like
I'm gonna try to-
minimum 7 seconds.
minimum 7. Okay. I'm going to try to shoot that now.
Thanks.
Man, I haven't Tebowed in so many years. I've got to remember how to. All right, like that. Okay. Got it. All right. Doing it with a tripod because I am a professional. Yeah, right. I'm going to go vertical. So I need to do this. I'll show you guys my Tebow video. See, this camera is locked in place. Otherwise, you'd see it live. But obviously, I have to get on the ground if I'm going to Tebow. So, put this on the ground. Let's see, I start there. Do that. I'm going to lower this background music. Okay. Guess who's back? He's back in the league. I guess we could call it the second coming of Tim Tebow. In honor of that, I, Chris Duel, shall Tebow. Yeah, I feel so much better now. Okay, that was like 20 seconds. That might be too long, but you can cut it?
Yeah.
All right, I'll show it.
I can edit it.
All right.
And send me your handle too.
Okay. If and I'll just do I'll do the shortest. I'll do one more that's real short, but
okay.
People here's me Tebowing. Kind of pathetic, but hey, I'm kind of pathetic. All right, now I'll do one more real short to give you 2 options. Let's see. Camera, video. Okay. This will be shorter. He's back. Tim Tebow. Yeah. All right. So does it matter how I send it to you? Text? Any preference?
Text to probably.
Text. Okay. Here comes text. So I'll send them separately in case the text gods want to screw something up. So there's the first one. Good morning, Beth Settle. How are you this morning? I just Tebowed. So here comes the second one.
Man, can you send it in an email?
Sure.
Because I guess you have an Android, so it sent it like really small.
I hate it when it does
I don't know
that.
why they do that.
Yeah. All right. Here comes email. And again, there'll be two. I'll send them both separately. So, okay, here comes.
Guess who's back? He's back in the league. I guess we could call it the second coming of Tim Tebow. In honor of that, I'm Chris Duel. Go Tebow. Yeah, I feel so much better now.
I just Tebowed in studio. I'm all in. I'm all in on Tim Tebow. I got Tim Tebow fever, not cat scratch fever, Jeremy Fouts. Yes. I think now, Shannon, the Houston Texans used to be my second favorite team. By the way, Chris Duel show, along with Shannon Salty Sweeney, Jeremy Fouts, the flawless and fabulous boy wonder and nephew of legendary Hall of Fame quarterback Dan Fouts. Jeremy Fouts is your soundscape stylist. I think it's done. The Texans were my second favorite team in the NFL, Shannon. Of course, it's the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, my favorite team of any sport, including the Spurs. Spurs come in second to the Cowboys. But now you've got Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence, and Tim Tebow on the same team. They're my second favorite team now. I am in the same way last year when Tom Brady played for the Buccaneers. If that game was on TV, remote control down, I'm in for the whole game. Now it's Jacksonville. I'm totally in.
I'm right there with you. I'm just like you were just Tebowing, right, for a TikTok that we're
Yes.
gonna make. And I was thinking about how on TikTok they have these houses where these younger kids who are somewhat good looking. I mean, all they do is work out and make TikTok videos, but they aren't considered to be the best role models, and yet they have all these reality like shows of them doing whatever it is they do. But I mean, now we need Hard Knocks. We need the inside look at this house of, well, really God's house.
Yes.
Truthfully.
Thank you.
His holiness of football and the Jaguars, and you have Urban Meyer on one side and Tim Tebow on the other, and then you have Trevor Lawrence, who's just like, which side do I listen to?
That's perfect. I'm telling you, and we talked about this in the 6 o'clock hour. If you're just tuning in, HBO, Hard Knocks, they need to, whatever the NFL wants, whatever HBO pays the NFL for the rights to Hard Knocks, double it, because ratings will be through the roof. It will be the greatest season of Hard Knocks ever now that Tim Tebow will be in camp. Presumably, as Shannon points out, the contract hasn't been signed yet. Most people believe that's just a formality. But even if Tebow were cut, even if he didn't make the team, to follow him and the new quarterback, Sunshine Trevor Lawrence, and the new coach, Urban Meyer, for like 5 weeks of Hard Knocks on HBO, and even if in that final episode, and that would be the big reveal. Either Tim Tebow's going to make the final 47-man roster or 53, whatever it is these days, or he's going to get cut. And either way, that would be a tremendous finale to Hard Knocks. All right, got to move on. I digress. In a moment, Shannon's Salty Shakedown. But first, this day in sports history. This day in 1959, Yankee catcher Yogi Berra's errorless streak, easy for me to say, errorless streak of 148 games came to an end. He played 148 games without an error, and he was the catcher. This day in 1963, LA Dodgers pitcher Sandy Koufax throws his second career no-hitter. He beat Juan Marichal and the San Francisco Giants 8-0. Check this one out. This day in 1977, Ted Turner, the owner of the Atlanta Braves, managed the game. He was the owner. He became, that's like Jerry Jones being head coach for the Cowboys. Crazy. And finally, this day in 1988, Mario Andretti records the fastest Indianapolis 500 lap at 221.565 miles per hour. He was flying. That's this day in sports history. How about some sports birthdays? Born on this day in 1952, May 11th, Mike Lupica, American sports journalist, newspaper columnist, and novelist, has written for the New York Daily News, has worked with ESPN. He was born in Oneida, New York, Mike Lupica. Born on this day in 1983, my beloved Matt Leinart, USC quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner in 2004. Not the best career ever with the Arizona Cardinals. Now a broadcaster on Fox Sports. Matt Leinart, born in Santa Ana, California. Thank you, Matt, for delivering that championship that was taken away from the Trojans. Thanks to Reggie Bush. Finally, not that I'm bitter, finally, on this day in 1989, another quarterback was born, Cam Newton. Cam Newton, happy birthday, Cam. Heisman Trophy winner in 2010, Auburn, NFL, MVP. People forget that. He was the MVP of the NFL in 2015, Pro Bowls in 2011, 2013, 2015 with the Carolina Panthers. Now with the Patriots, Cam Newton was born in Atlanta, Georgia on this day in 1989. Those are your sports birthdays. And now, ladies and Laura Burris says that's so Ted Turner. I got to go back. I vaguely remember that, but I got to go back and look at the circumstances in 1977 when the owner, Ted Turner, managed the Atlanta Braves in a baseball game. Anyway, that's your sports history, sports birthdays. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your salty shakedown.
We've talked a lot of Tim Tebow today.
Yes.
Rightfully so, as the Lord and Savior of the NFL has returned in full-bodied form to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Didn't have to go far, though, as he lives just down the road from head coach Urban Meyer. But we haven't talked about much the overreaction from some in the NFL. And I'm talking about the former Dallas Cowboy, Mr. Dez Bryant, who took to Twitter last night to say, so Tim Tebow haven't played NFL game in damn near a decade, and it's that simple. No hate, but you got to be kidding me. Well, obviously this tweet caused a stir, so he then posted a notes app where he was like, I'm not hating on Tim. I'm just saying you got to get what's yours. You can't worry about, you got to control what you can control. This, that, and the other. People are noting the convenience that Tim is so close to head coach Urban Meyer. Dez Bryant does what he does and had some Twitter spats with a few folks. I do believe you have to control what you can control. But when you look at a guy like Tim Tebow, who is known more for his character probably than his football playing skills at this point and his personality, versus a Dez Bryant who at times has been considered a locker room cancer. He's had more injuries, whereas Tim Tebow hasn't he just kind of fizzled out. He hasn't had an injury like a Des Bryant has that really kind of just, I mean, he's called a former Pro Bowler for a reason. He ain't going back. So I don't know that it's fair for him to just assert that onto Tim Tebow and kind of say it without actually saying it, that he's getting the gig because of his name and because he is neighbors when he's on the outside looking in. Of course, he last played with Baltimore in 2020, where he played 5 games, had 6 catches and 2 touchdowns, which was pretty good up until that, prior to, he was with the Saints for a very, very short stint after his Dallas Cowboys tenure, and then he tore his Achilles almost immediately. I don't know if we'll see Des Bryant back in the league, but clearly he's still fighting for it as he is a free agent. Your thoughts on Dez getting into the league now that we know Tebow is getting back into the league? Is Dez worthy of a 53-man roster spot more so than a Tim Tebow?
I don't think so. And it's so funny. He says no hate on the original tweet when it was clearly hate and bitterness. It's like when someone says to you, with all due respect, that means you've got no respect. You're about to say something that it shows me no respect when you're saying with all due respect. So Des Bryant, you're bitter. And you just documented it, Shannon. Tim Tebow, likable, inspirational, a good guy, a good teammate in the locker room. Des Bryant, unlikable, not inspirational, kind of a jerk, and as you said, kind of a cancer in the locker room. Adios, Des Bryant. Enjoy watching Tim Tebow on television this season.
Throw up the X at home. How about that?
Amen.
How about that? All right, moving on. We talked a few weeks ago about a new partnership the MLB had with bakeware, cookware empire, Le Creuset, where they make these pots where you can make pretty much anything in them. They're very heavy. They're very expensive. A lot of people love them. They're considered a luxury item in the kitchen. If you are so lucky to have one, I have an Amazon version that was $20, and I think it works wonderfully. So there's that for you. Of course, that was an exclusive, right? It only included a couple of MLB teams. Well, now they have another partnership, this time with Ralph Lauren. Now, Ralph Lauren, for a Yankees, I think it was some sort of 50th anniversary of some sort, they did a partnership just with them that sold out within the first day. So now they've got this Ralph Lauren partnership just with a couple of teams again, Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs, Cardinals, with more teams to come, they say, because Red Sox fans are, of course, upset that they were not included in this first round. But you can now go to Ralph Lauren's website or Macy's or Bloomingdale's and get you some Ralph Lauren's MLB collab swag. Let me tell you some of the things you can get here, Chris. A team jacket for $498.
Yikes.
A hoodie for $168. A polo, which Ralph Lauren Classic, $148. Or a baseball hat for $70.
Oh my God.
I know it's Ralph Lauren. I know they're a big deal. I know they've done things with sports before. Obviously, they have been dressing the U.S. Olympians for years. They just released what they will be wearing this year, should Tokyo actually take place. But this just seems a little high and mighty for me. For the MLB, I get that they're trying to do all these cross promotions to get more people interested. I mean, we're already 35 games into the season, just about. And I already feel worn out by the MLB, but they keep coming up with these platforms. But I just don't know how attainable items like this are with Ralph Lauren. I mean, I love a good $20 t-shirt from my local fan shop. I don't need to spend 5 times as much for one t-shirt that I'm only going to wear during the season anyway. I don't know. What do you think about this partnership? Is it just a ploy to get more people interested in the MLB? Maybe just people of a certain monetary wealth to get interested in the MLB? And again, we're lacking Astros. We're lacking Rangers here. Where's the love?
It's so, when you said $70 baseball cap, as a guy, and I wear a lot of baseball caps, never paid $70 for one. I mean, that's almost like when someone wears a Rolex in public and they get mugged. So, oh no, you wore a Rolex in public, so you deserve to get mugged. If you wear a $70 Ralph Lauren baseball cap at a game, I hope somebody steals it off your head and tosses it onto the field or to some other fan or so. I mean, you make a good point though. Anybody who can afford this, Shannon, if Major League Baseball can bring in high-end fans and, friends of A-Rod and J-Lo and, maybe that's more money for Major League Baseball, but Those are some crazy, crazy numbers.
I am all for finer things in life. I've been known to check out a Louis store in Paris from time to time. But I save for those things, and then I have very few of them and I keep them. I don't get them and then wear them to games where I am next to a bunch of people I don't know, where I'm going to be sweating for hours on end and might spill a beer myself or have a beer spilled on me, because it has happened before where just stuff gets knocked down. I'm not going to put it in harm's way. If I get something nice, it's probably going to stay in its original packaging for the longest time. Anyone who follows me on Twitter knows that I posted a pair of shoes over the weekend that I've had for over a year that are more white than I'm used to having. So I have yet to actually wear those shoes because I am so afraid of them getting any speck of dirt on them. So I will not be purchasing, even if they do get Houston or Texas MLB swag. There you go, an Astros. I mean, that was, where'd you get that? That was probably a free shirt. Chris is wearing an Astro shirt today.
I got it at Academy. I got it at Academy, and I think I paid like $20 for it.
Right. Academy and Dick's, I will continue to support both of your businesses for my sporting good needs. All right, finally today, and Jeremy, you have this audio for me, right? Perfect. All right, Adam Thielen is under fire for his comments on Lambeau Field, and I get why he's under fire, because Lambeau is viewed as this iconic, almost museum. It's a mecca of football. It's historic. It's a classic. It's very traditional for people who just grew up in these times. But we're used to stadiums now, like the Vikings, where Adam Thielen calls home, and new in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, even Cowboy Stadium that is over 10 years old now, still feels very, very new. It's all artsy. There's different sections. They're multi-use venues, and they're meant to bring in more than just football, but yet they're still great football atmospheres. But Adam Thielen had to say this when he was asked about Lambeau Field on a podcast.
What's one of your favorite road stadiums you play in?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think there's a couple ways to look at it. So I think my favorite place to play is Lambeau, just because it's the Packers and like the rivalry. Yeah, like there's nothing better than leaving Lambeau with a victory. There's literally nothing better. But on the reverse side, there's nothing worse than losing there and having to leave there. So
what's that locker room like compared to what you have in Minnesota now?
Yeah,
it's terrible.
I mean, and the whole stadium's not nice. Yeah. You know, it's not. There's nothing fancy about it. Like it's bleacher seats. Yeah. You know, for the most part. So, but then.
So he's getting roasted for that final comment there. He says, yeah, it's a great place to play because of the atmosphere, but the stadium itself is very outdated because, you know, most people are used to having backs on their chairs now, or even a cup holder that comes along with it, and they're holding it up in the bleachers. And I can't imagine being at one of those games when it is one of those chilly, snowy games for the Packers. I'm sure it's an environment unlike any other fan-wise, but I don't know. I don't like being cold. I don't, you know, my back hurts after so long. I just don't want to deal with it. So for a guy who is now playing in one of the newer stadiums in the league, I can't knock him for his comments. But what about you, Chris? Because you probably a little bit more of an NFL purist than I am.
And I've never been to Lambeau Field, but it's on my bucket list just because of what it is. But I mean, any Packer fan, and I'm assuming it's the Packers fans getting all butthurt by what he said about Lambeau Field and it being like an old. It's true. Let's be honest. It's been there forever. It's what 1930. So I mean, be real. It's an old stadium, but that's part of its charm. Is it's a throwback to what once was. So just be real about your stadium.
Do you think they'll ever do any changes to Lambeau, even if it's just like the locker room, or getting rid of the bleacher seats and going with things that are maybe a little more luxurious, maybe things that they could sell for a higher premium?
See, I don't think those Packer fans, I think they love the throwback. I think they love the austerity of it. So I don't think they will. Now, the locker rooms, that would make sense. Mm-hmm. I think players would appreciate it, both home and away. But I think the bleacher seats and the look and the feel of the stadium itself, I think that's part of why they love it. And that's part of why it's iconic.
Yeah, I think go with what works. However, if you do lose Aaron Rodgers, you may need something to spice it up to bring people in. I don't know. I'm just saying. But that concludes today's Salty Shakedown.
Very, very nice. Sheena Kendall Fouts on Facebook Live. Is that mom?
That is my
That is mom.
Yes.
Jeremy Fouts' mom says, I've been to Lambeau Field when it was 3 degrees, and in caps, it was the best experience ever. How cool is that? Jeremy, did your mom take you to Lambeau Field, or she went without you?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
There goes her Mother's Day gift for next year. All right. Exactly. Mom, you didn't take me to Lambeau. Quick break. Big 8 o'clock hour coming up on the Chris Duel Show. Cool, Sheena. I've been to many stadiums and games. That was the best because it was old and historic. Yeah, Sheena, that's why I hate the cold too. That would be my biggest hardship. It gets below 60 degrees and I am whining and complaining. So I think, and I'm going to go walk down the hall and see if he's left yet. Tanner Carlson got his second COVID shot yesterday. And what happened to Shannon, what happened to me, is beginning to happen to him. On your second day, side effects kick in. But he said, last time I saw him, he said he was going to gut it out. So I'm going to go take a look and see if he's among the living. Get his tripod here. Assuming he's showing up. I did not see Dan. Yeah, Sheena, I gotta get Jeremy a Dan Fouts jersey. I think he looked very stylish in a Dan Fouts number 14 San Diego Chargers jersey. All right, I'll be right back. Gonna check on the well-being of Tanner Carlson. Okay, Tanner is still in the building. I just saw Tanner. He was like in the corner of the 1200 WOAI newsroom, and he looked like he was hard at work. He still got 6 minutes. And also working over there with him was Michael Board, another reporter, and they looked like they were working on a serious news thing. And the boss man, Brian Gann, was nearby, so I thought But I better let these news people do their news gathering. So I think he's coming. Dean Stone says Jerry Glanville used to knock Cleveland Stadium, mentioning that the locker room had his trusty nail where he could hang a coat on. Very funny. So, wow, a week out of knee surgery, going to Lambeau Field in the cold and sitting on those hard bleachers. That was not easy, Sheena, but a great story. Yeah, I really, just for the experience being an NFL fan, hope to go there someday. Okay. If you're just tuning in, we talked about it earlier. In fact, Jeremy brought it up. Today is National Eat What You Want Day. Oh, and I don't know if you were here, Sheena. Jeremy said, I said if you were being executed in Huntsville, it's a really delightful situation. I bring it. Eat what you want day. I said, what would be your last meal? And he said, I would want a patty melt made by my mom. What a great son, and what a great cook you must be. So that was very nice of him. So we all had a hypothetical. If we were on death row in Huntsville, and if Governor Greg Abbott would not commute our sentence, even though we were all innocent, but on death row. And of course, Governor Greg Abbott would not commute our sentence because Texas. So, yeah. Woo. Ooh, today is also Twilight Zone Day. Cue the music. (8:02). Even though I saw Tanner Carlson in the building, will he make it? He's not in here yet.
Chris, what's your TikTok handle?
Just at Chris Duel. Someday soon I will put a video out there. At Chris Duel. John Williams, check my Facebook Messenger. Sorry, John, I saw that earlier and then I forgot because I was in the middle of the segment. Let's see. Wow, happy birthday, Chip England. I did not know that one, John. Good on you. I should have had that for sports birthdays. My bad. Yeah, I heard that, John. NBC will not air the Golden Globes because of a diversity controversy. Yeah, I know a lot of big name people were going to boycott it. I don't know a lot of the specifics. In fact, I heard that this morning when I woke up. I had some news channel on Sirius XM when I woke up. Let's see what else is trending. Lightning, Russell Westbrook, La Liga, Celtics.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Did you see Brian's email about the roadblock?
Oh, I totally forgot. So that's going to hit here, right?
Yeah, it'll play at 6, and then your open will be right after that.
Okay, totally forgot about that. Tanner Carlson is in studio, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the iHeart Music Awards. There's going to be this. Thank you for reminding me about that. It slipped my mind. How you feeling?
I'm doing all right.
Wow. soon as you get home, man. Get in bed and shut it down.
Josh, who would you not let your
He's back.
So here in a moment, we're going to hear who's going to be involved in the iHeart Music Awards. I will write down some of what we learn.
Tim Tebow.
I've Tebowed twice today in studio. I got on one knee.
All right.
I haven't Tebowed in years since he was last in the league.
Yeah, exactly.
But Shannon made a great point. If I'm HBO and Hard Knocks, I mean, my God. And even like if he's cut the final episode of the season right before the that would be like the greatest episode. Okay, here comes this. I'm going to listen to see what we learned anything. Thank you, Yolanda. I'm a big fan. All righty. I'm not. There it is.
Hey, it is Ryan Seacrest here. Our
Seacrest.
21 iHeartRadio Music Awards are quickly approaching.
iHeartRadio Music Awards.
You can watch the show on Fox live from Hollywood Thursday, May 27th, and listen on iHeartRadio stations across the country and on our iHeartRadio app. Today, very excited to announce the music superstars who will be taking the stage for live performances in front of a live audience. First up, iconic singer and actor Usher will be our host.
Usher, everybody. And he will serve as Usher.
In the will be on our stage with special guest Ariana Grande. Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak are Silk Sonic. They're playing live. The stunning breakout artist of 2020, Doja Cat.
Don't know that person. Do you know that?
I know the song. I don't know the person.
And more. It was a very special presentation of the iHeartRadio Icon Award to Elton John.
Oh, Elton John.
Radio Music Award goes to...
Be there to celebrate all the incredible artists and music that helped get us through an unprecedented year. Thursday, May 27th, 8/7 Central on Fox. Live from the Joker Theater in Hollywood. Live music is back. Don't miss our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Award.
Seacrest out. Wow. Here we come. Tanner Carlson is in studio, ladies and gentlemen. You're about to see him on Facebook Live. Will he pass out during the segment?
It's possible.
That would be great video.
That would be fantastic.
Will we have to call EMS?
It's not great radio, but it's great video.
It'd be great video.
Now, Chris Duel.
Wow, so much going on. You just heard Ryan Seacrest announcing the lineup for the 2021 iHeartRadio Music Awards on Thursday, May 27th. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Chris Duel show along with Shannon Salty Sweeney, and in studio, a man who I, up until moments ago, was not sure that he would be in studio because he got his second COVID shot yesterday. And Tanner Carlson, the second COVID shot knocked me out for 2 days. It knocked Shannon out for 2 days. And you are into day number 2. And this is when it got us. How are you feeling right now?
You know, I'm a little achy. I'm a little groggy. It's just kind of one of those, you kind of have those like symptoms, those typical, like I'm getting sick symptoms. And so it kind of feels, you know, like I should be in bed right now. That's what it feels like. But you know, my bank account says otherwise. And the, you know, I'm here for the people. I'm a people pleaser.
You're a madman.
Yeah.
I when I came in this morning at 5 something and talked to you, I could tell you're in a slower state of existence.
Yeah.
You're moving a little slower.
I definitely have a little bit more energy on a typical day. Today, I'm just kind of, I feel like some like the Flash sloth on Zootopia. If anybody's seen that movie, the guy who's just moving like extremely slow. That's exactly what I feel like.
Shannon, any advice for Tanner here as he embarks upon the day after the second COVID shot?
Just gotta ride it out, man.
Yeah,
you gotta ride it out.
You gotta ride that
You
wave.
just gotta count down the hours and know that I thought it was a 12-hour thing, and then Chris told me his was 36, and mine was exactly 36. So I don't know what hour you're on, but the countdown begins.
I'm a little after. I'm actually approaching 12 here shortly. At 10:30, I'll be at exactly 12.
No, from their symptoms starting.
When the symptoms kick in.
Oh well, then that's not very long. I've only just begun.
Yeah, mine. It took 12 hours for my symptoms to start, and then from there, 36 hours later was when I was over it.
Yeah. So when that 36 kicks in, like the first day, that was the day and it was the show I couldn't attend. I couldn't get my head off the pillow. It was just crazy fatigue. Second day of the 36, not as bad as but you're feeling it.
It definitely feels like it's those beginning stage. Like everybody knows what it's like whenever you're about to be sick. Like you can just feel it kind of coming on. I'm at that stage. Like I can just feel like everything kind of achy every time I move. I just get that like wiggy feeling, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I definitely need to take a nap today for sure. No doubt about it.
Now, Shannon, before we talk football and Tebow with Tanner Carlson, we just heard Ryan Seacrest with the lineup for the iHeartRadio Music Awards. No Justin Timberlake. Are you containing your rage right now?
It's okay. He's not releasing a new album yet. I'm sure his album cycle. Everyone is starting to release music now that they're going to be able to go out and actually do live shows. So I think he's all about timing. It's
See,
okay.
I'm proud of myself. I've heard of Usher. I've heard of The Weeknd.
There you go.
Usually they do these. I've heard of nobody. I've heard of Ariana Grande. I've heard of Bruno Mars, and I've heard of Elton John. So I mean, I'm just
yes.
I'm really excited.
I'm glad you've heard of Sir Elton. I'm glad you've heard of that one.
So there's that.
Even I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Hey, J. Cole's new album's coming out, so that's exciting. He announced his. I'm sure you don't know who that is.
You know what I saw about him today is that he's going to play in the NBA's version of the Australian League.
Oh, is that right?
Isn't he releasing an album? I don't understand.
Yeah, no, he's releasing an album, and his album cover is a basketball hoop on fire because he just catches fire. Like he just is a streaky shooter that way. So.
I think he does a lot of celebrity games, right?
Oh yeah, he does. He's been in like the last 10 All-Star celebrity games of the NBA All-Star weekend.
Very cool.
But anyway,
all right, I have African NBA.
African NBA. Very nice. So I'm wondering, Tanner. You got your second shot, and as Shannon mentioned, it knocked me out. It knocked her out. I'm wondering if the fact that you're even able to function here the second day and come to work and be on the radio, is it because like me and like Shannon, you're on a Tim Tebow high? Whereas if it weren't for the Tebow news, you might be in bed right now, just passed out.
Yeah.
But I think we are all on this Tim Tebow adrenaline, this holy, it's as if we have been anointed by something very special and spiritual. It is as if the football gods and perhaps God, him and or herself, has looked down upon us and granted us this blessing of the second coming of Tim Tebow. Is that why you're motoring through this COVID fog?
The Lord is within me, and the football gods, including the good Lord above himself, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, is pushing not only Tim Tebow back into our lives, but allowing me to do this show. It's a great day for football. It's a great day for Jesus. Jesus won today.
Yes,
is really what the big winner of all this news is. That I don't think anybody has talked about Jesus this much probably since Easter.
See the Tebow, and now we know who God's favorite team is going to be this season. Now we know
Jaguars. Yeah, typically it's always the Dallas Cowboys. Texas Stadium had the hole in the roof because so God could watch his favorite team. Well, now he has placed the second coming of Tim Tebow on the Jacksonville Jaguars field so he can watch his favorite player play.
Now, does Tim Tebow lead the Jaguars to just the Super Bowl, or does he lead them to a Super Bowl victory? Which
I think he beats Tom Brady in an all-Florida showdown in the Super Bowl.
Shannon said in the Super Bowl there'll be like the 3 touchdown passes from Trevor Lawrence to Tim Tebow.
Right.
And I theorize on the final possession, Trevor Lawrence down by 4, the Jaguars, injures his ankle. So Tebow, for the first time all season, has to take snaps at quarterback and leads the Jaguars down the field. Probably just running the football, back to pass and then run 14 yards.
It'll be Wildcat all season. It'll be Taysom Hill style offense for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but it'll be Tim Tebow in the Taysom Hill role all season long. I mean, it's going to be a rotation. It'll be Wildcat football. It'll be back in 2013 when the Miami Dolphins had that much success with it. And it'll be Tim Tebow doing his little jump pass over the offensive line. And it's going to be Philly specials all day with him and Trevor Lawrence just vibing and gelling, scoring touchdowns. Probably 17-0 coming up for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which would mean if the Jacksonville Jaguars go 17-0, Trevor Lawrence would not have lost a regular season game in his football career, including high school, college, and now the pros.
Wow.
That's impressive.
You like that, Shannon?
I mean, he could retire. Why play more?
He should retire. If that happens, if the Jaguars go 17-0, I would never play another down of football in my life.
Now, how do you think Trevor Lawrence, Sunshine, feels about this? Now, obviously, he's the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. He's the chosen one himself, at least for the time being. Do you think he worries? I mean, the fact that Urban Meyer is so close to Tim Tebow, was the coach of Tim Tebow when Tim Tebow won the Heisman Trophy. Do you think Trevor Lawrence likes this signing? Do you think he sees it as a distraction? Do you think he sees it removing some of the distraction that he's going to have because all of the media attention would have been on him? Now Tim Tebow shows up.
Tim Tebow won't make it to week 1. He's going to be cut. He's going to be cut. In all seriousness,
blasphemy.
Without having
blasphemer.
I really feel.
Yeah. Without having all the fun of Tim Tebow being back in the NFL, the guy hasn't played in 8 years, and I don't think he was even a contributor in that final season. And he was kind of bouncing around the league with the Jets and the Eagles and the Patriots and this, that, and the other. So he wasn't really even much of a factor, even whenever he was in his final couple seasons in the league. I don't think, and I'm pretty
ye of
positive.
little faith.
Oh yes,
ye of little faith.
Very little faith. I don't think Trevor Lawrence even is like, I don't think he even has a bead of sweat dripping from his golden locks.
So Yolanda Bermea on Facebook Live just wrote, Tebow and Sunshine, I'm accepting the Jaguars as my number 2 team this year after my Saints. I told that to Shannon. The Texans used to be my second favorite team. Now it's the Jaguars with Tebow.
Now, yeah.
I am all in on Tebow.
I guarantee you, at least come preseason or training camp, there's going to be some type of footage or something out there that is going to have Tim Tebow in a quarterback set, whether that's the Wildcat, whatever scenario that is, it will be Tim Tebow taking a direct snap, doing something on the goal line, maybe a Cam Newton package for him. There's going to be something for him at least come preseason, and whenever he gets stuff for -2 yards every single time, then they'll probably decide to cut him before the preseason is over.
Wow.
But he stays as team chaplain, right?
Yes, he will be hired on as the team priest, and they will say the Lord's Prayer before every game.
See, and I was telling this to Shannon too, Tanner.
And black eye for everyone.
Yeah, I didn't realize in my head Tebow was about 27. I thought, because I didn't know how old he was when we started the show.
30 something. Right?
Shannon, he's 34.
Yeah,
he's 30. So I would imagine a lot of young players.
Well, he played all 4 years in college.
Yeah,
and then he played in the NFL for 3 or 4 seasons before he was finally knocked out.
Yes, and then baseball.
And then baseball for the last 8 years, just about.
In my head, I didn't realize. So my question to you is, a lot of young players, there's going to be a lot of young players in that locker room who know who he is, who grew up watching Tim Tebow or have heard of him. For him to be on that roster, are those players excited or are they impressed? Is it like having A-Rod or somebody they've heard? I mean,
it's not like A-Rod.
Well, okay. Well, what? Yeah, bad example.
Yeah.
What do you think he brings to that locker room?
I do think that he could. I mean, after he gets cut as a player, I think Urban Meyer has such a man crush on him that he wants him to stick around. And I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him on in a Matthew McConaughey type role for the University of Texas. The what is it, chaplain of culture, or what is it?
Minister
Shannon?
of culture.
That's what
MOC.
it is. Yeah, the MOC. That's going to be Tebow time. I mean, he's going to be there. He's going to be basically wearing a mascot uniform, the big Jaguar, and he'll go around pumping everybody up and going into press conferences crying, saying this is never going to happen again. I promise we will never lose again. And then they go on to win a Super Bowl.
Very nice.
Remember
All right.
just a few short years ago when they signed Nick Foles and they had Jalen Ramsey showing up to training camp in a bank armored vehicle?
Yes.
Screaming at the top. Like, that hype seems so small in comparison to what we've got going on right now in Jacksonville.
Instead of a armored vehicle, he's going to be rolling up in the Pope Mobile.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's going to have to. There's no other option.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can
I
follow
love
up an
that
armored
image.
vehicle.
And he can have like revivals at the stadium before the game. We could like do some preaching,
Yeah.
have a big old revival.
Yeah, and he's just throwing holy water on everybody
I
as
like
he
it.
drives by like a parade.
I like it. Well, I don't want to, while you're fighting through your COVID second shot, I don't want to make you talk Tebow for the whole segment.
Okay.
Cowboys, we talk a lot of Cowboys
Yeah,
with
I'm
you.
sick,
A lot
I'm
of
sick enough as it is.
Exactly. Any new feelings about this Cowboys team? 2 weeks now removed from the NFL draft. And oh my God, tomorrow's the big reveal, the big schedule release. We're gonna play. I saw Rich Eisen, and we may play that audio before we're done. But Rich Eisen on his show yesterday theorized opening night, Thursday night football. It's expected to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, your defending Super Bowl champions. We don't think they're going to play the Chiefs. In fact, I don't think they can schedule wise this year. But we already know at one point Cowboys will play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right. Wouldn't that be on opening night for the NFL? Return of Dak, America's team, Tom Brady, Buccaneers. How excited will you be tomorrow night if you learn the first game of the season with the eyes of the world watching, no other games being played on Thursday night football, Cowboys, Buccaneers?
I wouldn't be excited because they're going to be coming off their high of Super Bowl defending champs. They're going to be, we're not having a hangover this year until week 3 when they actually start losing games or whatever, or week 5, whatever their hangover is, when that happens, because it will likely happen at some point. Dallas never really shows up for that like national stage, big time game. Tom Brady coming into town, Dak Prescott's first game since his injury. I'd rather it be like the Giants, and the Giants actually would make sense. 2 big marquee teams playing against each other in the division, and they're big market teams, and it's Saquon coming back from his injury, Dak coming back from his injury. I could see the Giants, which we get the Giants every year week 1. So, I mean, why change it now? But I don't know. I want to stay away from Tampa Bay week 1. Maybe get them week 5, week 6, whenever things are kind of settling down and they're not so hyped up for the start of the season and getting their Super Bowl rings, defending champions, all that stuff. I'd wait till the dust starts to settle a little bit on that.
Shannon, if you could pick any matchup, opening night, NFL, Thursday night football to start the season, what do you pick?
Does it have to be the Cowboys?
Doesn't have the commissioner calls you this morning after the show and says, Shannon, I've been a big fan. You pick it. Whatever you pick, that'll be opening Thursday night football. Whatever matchup you want.
I mean, I'd love a repeat of the Super Bowl.
That would be fun.
Brady Mahomes.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Packers. I'm eager to see
whatever that looks like.
Whatever the Packers look like, whether
man.
it's Jordan Love, whether it's Rodgers, whether whoever it is, I'd like to see the Packers playing on that Thursday night. That's what I want
Whoever
my first
Aaron's
football
new team is.
Yeah, and then Packers.
That would be Packers Broncos.
Packers versus Rodgers.
Wow.
And whether the Rodgers is on the Packers or not, it's still going to be Packers versus Rodgers at some point in the season, regardless if he's on the team or not. So that would be extremely exciting and a lot of drama filled there.
So back to the Cowboys. Are you feeling good now that we've had time to digest all of these defensive draft picks? Dan Quinn, your prophecy a week ago, you named a Cowboy veteran to be cut, and 24 hours later he is cut. Any more prophecy that you want to lay on us?
Not right now. I think that they're fairly comfortable with their undrafted guys coming in and the draft coming in. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see. And there's always going to be injuries. There's always going to be a player. I mean, I just hope that our free agency doesn't end up like it did last year where we lost Clinton Dix, or not lose him, but he just wasn't good to make the team midway through training camp. We had Everson Griffin come in late into training camp, cut him within 4 weeks of the season. And then Gerald McCoy, he had his season-ending injury as well. So I'm hoping some of these guys that we have accumulated are actually healthy and can actually contribute right away. So that's really my only big thing throughout the entire offseason. That's why I hate preseason games. I hate training camp. I hate all of it. I'm excited for it, but I hate it just because I know the Cowboys' history when it comes to injuries in meaningless football.
And I want to go here real quick, and I know we're up against it, but because the two of you, and I brought you up earlier, Luka Doncic, hits Colin Sexton in the groin earlier in the week. He's one technical away from being suspended. Shannon's a big Mavericks fan. You're a big Mavericks fan. And I didn't know this till last night. I'm in the Spurs studio with you, and Sam Freese from the Mike Taylor Show walks in. He's a Mavericks fan, reminding us, and I didn't know that Luka grew up as a LeBron James fan.
Right.
Do you think maybe some of this behavior, this whining, complaining to refs, getting technicals, stems from his watching how LeBron James behaved himself on the court all these years?
I think a lot of the NBA has something to blame for LeBron's and his status and everyone looking up to him. I mean, we're getting high school players doing that. We're getting guys that aren't even at any status that are complaining, moaning, groaning, putting their hands up to the ref, things like that. So I if I can blame LeBron James for anything, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that hall pass. I'm going to take that pass that you gave me, and I'm going to just run with it. So I will blame LeBron James. But at the end of the day, in all seriousness, Luka Doncic is his own person. He's his own player. He's his own man. He can make his own decisions, and that's a terrible, terrible decision and a bad look on a franchise. It's a bad look on a player. There's no room for those types of cheap shots, especially man to man. That's like an unspoken rule.
Yeah,
you don't go for that. You just don't go there. And so, there's no place for it. I don't approve. But if you're allowing me to blame LeBron James, I will do that. I will gladly take that pass.
Are you concerned that Luka Doncic could be the next Rasheed Wallace? I don't know if you remember Rasheed Wallace. He was a guy who would always get technicals. He would always be on the brink of getting suspended because he gets so many. Is this something you think he's going to grow up and clean up a little bit?
He has to. He has to, because if he doesn't, then he's going to be the star player who's never playing for his team or is going to be threatened missing games, especially towards the end of the season when you're trying to make a playoff push or move seedings or make one last little push getting into the playoffs. So, I hope he does not become that player because the league is better off with their players, their star guys on the court at all times. I hope it doesn't turn into that, but I think the Dallas Maverick organization, maybe some older, mature players, maybe get Dirk in there, sit down and talk with the kid and tell him, look, man, it's better for you to help your team. I know you're trying to be the energizer guy, whatever you need to try to be, but let somebody else do that. Let somebody else fill that role. You can just go out there and play.
Tanner Carlson is a great follow on Twitter at Tanner Carlson 20. But Shannon and I will probably predict you won't be tweeting a lot over the next 30 hours.
I'll be sleeping a lot.
That's a theory.
The last 24 hours, yeah.
Well, we hope you feel better, man.
All right,
Good luck.
Yeah,
best of luck. And you're a heck of a trooper for your 1200 WOAI chores. You did the Spurs broadcast with me last night. And you're going to fill in for me on the Spurs broadcast
Thursday
with Bill Schoening on Thursday night. So Spurs fans, tune in to Spurs and the Knicks on Thursday night and hear Tanner Carlson pregame, halftime, postgame, and throughout the game.
I'm looking forward to it.
Pretty cool. I appreciate you doing that.
Definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be. I'm extremely excited for the opportunity, espally after I just did a Maverick segment.
I owe you a Tim Tebow jersey for all of your efforts.
It better be signed.
It will be. We'll work on that. Thank you, Tanner. Quick break. Lots more coming up. We're with you till 9:00. She's Shannon Salty Sweeney. Jeremy Fouts makes the show go. It's the Chris Duel Show. All right, man. Hang in there.
Yeah.
Feel better. Get your butt in bed as quick as you can.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, thanks a lot, man.
All right, great stuff. Thank you. Louisa, I don't know. That's a good question. Okay, I need to send an email, first of all. See if I can get that done. My heart. And Jeremy, I may or may not play that Rich Eisen audio. Okay. Yeah, I kind of just gave it away in that segment, but so we'll see how the flow goes here. And our email now, you have to go through 2 texted email verifications to get into the email at work, which I guess is good. A little bit of a chore, but I guess for security, it's good. It's like you need 1 to get on the site, and I get a text with a code, and then once you get on the site, to choose to look at your email, they have to send you another code, which with all these hackers, I get it, and I guess it's good, but you're kind of in a hurry in between segments to send off an email. Okay. Louis, so that would be cool. See a Colts game and see Sam Ehlinger on the sideline. And who knows, before too long, he might get in a game. He might, with Carson Wentz and Frank Reich as the quarterback whisperer, apparently Frank Reich saw something in Ehlinger to draft him. How long till we're back? 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to make a quick run down the hall. I'll be right back. All right. But yeah, I hope Ehlinger shocks the world and becomes that quarterback. Yeah, Tanner, I mean, you can tell his energy is not what it usually is. So Jason says Las Vegas versus Dallas on Thanksgiving. I would love that. That'd be a fun matchup. And tomorrow night we will know all of these answers as to when and where these games are going to be. Obviously, we know where Thanksgiving is going to be, but I'll be back in a sec.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us here on the show this morning. I'm going to test something out real quick. I noticed StreamYard has a share screen function. and I want to see how this works. Oh. I don't know if you guys can see this, but hopefully Funny Monkey Videos, a Funny Monkeys compilation 2020 is showing up. I just wanted to test it out and see if it would work at some point. That's pretty much all I got. You can't see it. Dang it. Oh, I'll tell you why. It's because I can't control what is like I don't control like these cameras. I think Shannon does that, and I think it's registering the shared screen as like a separate camera. Well, dang it. Well, I guess you guys will not be able to see Funny Monkey Videos of Funny Monkeys compilation 2020. So I apologize for that. I was really looking forward to showing you guys that. But it's fine. It's okay. I figured we could all use a little funny monkey in our life. I mean, we only got like 2 minutes till we're back now, so it's no big deal. But maybe next time.
Yeah, we didn't even reference the PlayStation T-shirt. I've just got Shannon's TikTok, I think. Or... Very funny. Tim Tebow with a Tebow. A double Tebow. Very nice. Very funny. I'm going to have, can I save that and then repost it? I think I can. Jeremy Fouts will bring funny monkey videos. Thank you, Shannon, for the TikTok. Wow, I'm very excited. Welcome back. Chris Duel Show along with Shannon Salty Sweeney. Dirty Laundry by Don Henley. Outstanding. Another great choice by Jeremy Fouts, your soundscape stylist, wearing the PlayStation T-shirt. And Jeremy says, and we'll have to explore this, he will do his best to bring funny monkey videos, compilation 2020 next time. I don't even know what that's about. We'll explore that in a second. Not only have I Tebowed twice in this studio this morning, because I am all in on Tim Tebow to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do not share the cynicism of Tanner Carlson that Tim Tebow will be cut and not even make the regular season roster. I think Tim Tebow is going to be a big deal. But Shannon, you have now taken my in-studio Tim Tebow Tebowing and made it TikTok official with Tebow himself in the TikTok. This day just keeps getting better for me.
Yeah, you didn't know you were going to do it with Tebow?
I didn't know.
I told you that.
You just said send me a video.
That's one of the fun features of TikTok is that I can find a picture of somebody like that and it'll cut them out. It'll get rid of the background, just be them, so I can then put them in there with you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I may be what I found. I hadn't T-bowed in a few years, and it hurt.
Is your form rusty?
My form is rusty, and like my knees are like creaky. It was like I could hear my knees crackle when I got down on one knee to do my T-bows. That's not a good sign.
Well, I couldn't tell, so I think it looks flawless.
Oh, that's not a good sign that I'm limber. I mentioned Rich Eisen on the show yesterday, on his show, the Rich Eisen show. He is confident. He said, I'm not going to say bet the house. He says, I'm not going to say I'll eat my hat if that's not it. But he predicts, and remember, Rich Eisen works on the NFL Network. He's kind of connected. So I think it's an educated guess. When the NFL schedule release comes out tomorrow night, he's saying that opening night, Thursday night football, the first game of the regular season, will be Dak Prescott coming back from injury and the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Tampa Bay, where the Buccaneers will have their ring ceremony and unfurl their banner or whatever they do. If that happens, Shannon, and that's what Rich Eisen is telling us, will be revealed tomorrow, that would be a fun opening to the regular season.
I think it sounds fun, but as Tanner kind of alluded to, the Cowboys they're great when they're in the spotlight at not living up to the hype that the rest of Cowboys Nation gives them. It doesn't matter how great they are when they have local games, but when they are in the spotlight, they live up to the people who love to hate on America's team, which is a lot of America. And so I don't love that for them. I don't love that journey for them. I'd much rather them open at home, or like Tanner said, open against the Giants, because that can typically be a better shot at getting a W on the season. You know, Tampa's bringing all 22 starters back. You've got Tom Brady. That by no means automatically means they're gonna, chalk up a dub.
Yeah.
Fight. I mean, the offense prior to Dak being out of commission for the rest of last season was a high profile offense. And he was slinging it. So there's always that chance, but we have no idea what the defense is going to look like. And you can't be like that when you go up a guy like Tom Brady, who can just read the crap out of any defense he gets put in front of.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. Everything you're saying is accurate. And the Cowboys have really stunk it up on big nationally televised games. I mean, opening night last year against the LA Rams. Was that last year or was that 2 years ago? I think that was last year.
SoFi.
Yeah, that was it. That was last year.
But the Cowboys,
yeah, and the Cowboys, even though it was tight in the fourth quarter, the Cowboys did lose that game at SoFi. So, but one of my feelings is if you're continuing to be bad at this, you've got to keep going back at it and break that trend, break that jinx. And, I have no confidence yet in Mike McCarthy and this Cowboys football team to do that, certainly against the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, oh, by the way, got everybody back. I read every starter. This never happens. When you win a Super Bowl, some guys go get paid by somebody else. They leave because they can make a lot more money. They got everybody back. They're going to be tough.
Yeah. I love the idea of it and the hype of it. But again, as a Cowboys fan, I don't want to be punched in the gut that early. I go into every season thinking it's our year. I don't want to lose that feeling night one of the NFL.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Good point. Yeah, and then that would be Thursday night, and then you have to go through week one on Sunday. So it's
something to look forward to. Really.
So it's like when the Cowboys play on Sunday Night Football, it's great for me because it's like you've got that's like your entree, and the appetizer is the early game, and then you've got kind of like another like meal, but not the entree coming. So yeah, then the big entree or even the dessert is the Cowboys Sunday night game. But how crazy big is the NFL? They do their draft, and it got more better ratings than the NBA Finals, better ratings than the Oscars. We already know who each team is going to play. We already know, the schedule on who's playing whom. So essentially, the NFL tomorrow night is rolling out the order in which teams are going to play. The schedule, and it's still, you hear we're talking about it, it's going to get pretty damn good ratings for what it is. It's just amazing to me just how big the NFL is and continues to be. It seems to just grow in popularity all the time.
I think I said this last week. Like, there really isn't an off season for the NFL. There's just the time of year when they don't have games every week. And, and to your point, I got a text over the weekend from my aunt. As we said, shows are kind of starting to come back. There's Moon Tower Festival, which is a comedy festival in Austin, is going to be taking place in the early fall. There was a comedian that she wanted to go see, so I got us tickets.
Woo!
The show is on a Sunday night. So now my initial thought was, okay, well, the schedule is coming out this week. So hopefully that won't be a key Sunday night where I will rather or need to be in front of a TV to watch the Cowboys play. I mean, that's the NFL owns me.
Yeah.
I am going to take out my calendar and put in all the games after the schedule comes out. I enjoy it, but it's also work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm right there with you. They just, all the time. Even if Jaguars don't get Hard Knocks, and whether that's their choice or not, I wouldn't be surprised if they were smart enough and realize the marketing that they have right now and the momentum they have just to do their own internal thing.
Gosh, yeah. You just mentioned your aunt. There's a comedian she wants to see at that comedy festival. You piqued my interest there. What comic does she want to see? Do you remember?
Her name is Fortune Feenster.
Fortune Feenster. Don't know her.
She's pretty funny. She's on a lot of TV shows these days. She's got a great Netflix special on Netflix.
Okay.
So it shows she's laugh out loud funny. I love any take me to see any kind of comedian. I love it. I just love to laugh. But then when people ask me, well, who's your favorite comedian? My mind goes blank because I watch all these stand-up specials.
Sure.
And I can't remember anybody's name. I'm just like, oh, I love these jokes or I love those jokes. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, all my favorite comedians are dead. Bill Hicks.
No, you need to
get, I know.
Get on Netflix and HBO. There's
I do. Bill Hicks, who Austin was his favorite venue. He'd play the Laugh Stop in Austin, which later became the Capital City Comedy Club. George Carlin, love him, dead. Richard Pryor, love him, dead. Sam Kinison, love him, dead. So yeah.
And Jason here says Taylor Tomlinson. I think I know who she is. She is fantastic. She, I think, is my age, and so I relate to her.
Cool.
Very much. And she's again on TikTok and Instagram and all the things, and she's hilarious. Also has a Netflix special if you want to check.
I got to catch up on all my
the right person.
Netflix comedy. Now we do have to explore this, Shannon. Jeremy Fouts during the break posted, "I'm sorry, everyone. I will do my best to bring you funny monkey videos compilation 2020 next time." Jeremy, help us out. What is this your specialty? Funny monkey videos compilation? What am I missing here?
During the break when you were gone, I was testing out this StreamYard's screen share feature.
Nice.
The example video I was going to use was funny monkey video compilation 2020, but it did not work.
Oh no! So we had a false failure to launch.
Much to the chagrin of our Facebook Live viewers, yes. But next time, I promise you, I will get you your funny monkey videos.
It turns out I have mastered control.
You got to co-op with Shannon to make.
So he can add the video, but I have to actually put it out there for the.
So Shannon, that means you rejected funny monkey videos compilation 2020.
No. I did not. I saw it happening and I was trying to communicate. He didn't have me in queue though. So when I was saying do you need to press the button? Do you have it on your end?
Right. And then
why am I seeing funny monkey on my feed? Okay. That's wild. Something we didn't talk about, and credit to John Williams On Facebook Live, John's out of Dallas. Shannon, last night, Russell Westbrook got a triple-double again. It was his 182nd triple-double, so he moved past the great and legendary Milwaukee Buck, Oscar Robertson, in career triple-doubles. So now nobody has more career triple-doubles than Russell Westbrook. Your thoughts on Russ and his achievement?
I like it, I guess, if he just didn't come with the whole he's kind of selfish and so that's how he gets there. I know we gave him a high five for this last week, and so I'm happy for him. Records are meant to be broken, and so that's great for him. But it is also strange that where Russ is now just in his career, because I don't think we see the Wizards as a Nets or even he kind of brought the Thunder to the forefront, right? So he's just kind of lost in the shuffle that I can't imagine if we're even talking about him if he isn't breaking this record with where he is now in his career.
Yeah, and as an old guy, get off my lawn, I will just point out when Oscar Robertson played and had 181 triple doubles, there was no three-point shot, so it wasn't as easy to score in double figures. And secondly, other teams played defense. Russell Westbrook is in an era now where there's not a lot of defense being played against you when you're going for your triple double. So anyway, that's just me being an old guy whining that Russell Westbrook.
I'm almost positive that most of his rebounds come from him missing the driving layups where he.
So his own rebounds.
Gets a rebound and then rebounds.
All right. Well, we did have a Tebow poll question, and so now we will find out, according to our listeners, Shannon, how does this season turn out for Tim Tebow?
I don't think you're going to like it.
Oh.
Most people right now, 42% voting, very little impact. 35% saying cut before regular season.
Oh.
17% major impact on the team. 3% saying he's going to the Super Bowl. So.
Whoa. Two things. As I told Tanner, ye of little faith, all you people.
Yeah. You know what? They need to pray on it.
Yes.
Pray on it.
Pray, and the Lord works in mysterious ways. The Lord is testing our faith, is what's happening here, people. That's all I'm saying. Shannon, outstanding.
You as well, sir.
We'll do this again tomorrow. Beautiful. Jeremy, next time we expect Funny Monkey Compilation 2020, please.
You shall have it.
I can't wait until you're back and I can see that. And our thanks to Tanner Carlson. We wish him the best as he contends with the aftermath of COVID shot number 2. And, Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs, always outstanding. Thanks, everybody on Facebook Live. Thanks, everybody listening on AM 1300 The Zone and Ticket 760 and the iHeartRadio app. We will do this again in 21 hours. Tebow!